pretty guy here. This big helicopter, the blue and white diamonds, was an award given to the helicopter and crew from the mayor of Munich, Germany. And he saved a lot of lives during the flood over there. This missile over here on the stick, this is actually, well, it's part of the ground launch cruise control missile system. It's called a Griffin, the command trailer, and has 3 other missiles back by the fence there. So the Russians brought their tanks up to Germany and said, we're going to keep our tanks here. We said, no, you're not. So we took our missiles over there. The Russians said, okay, I give up. We'll take our tanks away. You take your missiles away. Thanks a lot. Here's the space gallery. You got to go in there and see at least the X-15. You can fly a module into another module. You can land a module. You can go to the Arizona Hall of Fame, and my picture's not in there yet, so don't worry, I'm working on it. Little fighter here. This is called the F-5 Freedom Fighter, supersonic. 4049 is a French and German made a little trainer. It was a trainer and an attack aircraft. Look at the little bitty machine gun underneath there. A couple of F-86s. Now these are Korean vintage. They weren't the first planes into Korea, but the one with the yellow nose was the day fighter. The dark nose here would have been the F-86D model. They call it the Dog 86. Only because this dog was mean. 10-to-1 kill ratio with that kind of airplane. Yes? Okay, I'll put it in stop here. You may. Take your time. What's the name of the movie I want you to get? Dumbo. Don't forget. Tell Mom you want to watch Dumbo Drop. It's a good kids movie. Honest. Alright. Oh, I forgot our Mary Kay airplane over here. If you look at it in the sun, it's just like the... Well, it's not really a Mary Kay airplane. But if you get 2 Cadillacs, you can have that. It's an RAF airplane. It is supersonic, and it fought in the Saudi war. That's the color of their desert. Look at it in the sun. Here's an A-7 Corsair II. This airplane can carry 3 times the bomb load as a 4-engine, 13-passenger airplane in the hangar here. The B-17. It's pretty cool. Our first combat jet in Korea was this one over here. It's called the P-80 Shooting Star. It is not supersonic, but it did have a kill with the MiG with missiles. Now these 2 airplanes here came out of the boneyard. The first one's called the F-106. Primarily they flew them out of Minot, North Dakota, protecting our northern borders. The little guy here is the F-102. These were supersonic, delta wing, triangle winged airplanes. Little George Bush might have flown one of those down in Texas. If you look up to your right, you see a blue and white airplane called the Fuga. That one is a private airplane. It was given to us. The French used to use them as trainers. 23 and 57. 23 is a European airplane. An English aircraft. 57 over here was called the Vampire, and it's from Australia. I love that word, Australia. I gotta get there one of these days. But I want you to be careful, because when you go over there and you say, wow, this is a pretty neat little airplane, I'm gonna... It's plywood. Yeah. If it doesn't need to be protected with bulletproof stuff, it's made out of wood. So tap on the engine. Yeah, it's plywood. F-101 Voodoo here. This is the R model. John Kennedy would have sent them over down to Cuba. There's an A-10 coming off doing the knife edge turn. They come here to Davis-Monthan with 2 licenses. The license for this white airplane right up to our right side. And remember the first one we saw, the Tweety Bird, the twin-engine subsonic? This is a twin-engine supersonic. You walk through the gate with your 2 licenses, you're going to fly an A-10. That's the 2 airplanes you've got to fly. Why is he flying alone? They all make left-hand turns. I thought the NASCAR was over. Here's an F-100, the Super Saver. Super Saver ran into her in, April of 1960 in Amarillo, Texas. They were flying. Yeah, it's his first supersonic airplane. Where'd that A-10 go? Gosh darn it. Here's an F-104. This is a missile with a man in it. Well, it started out as a single-seater. Now this is a two-person rocket. It has a gigundous engine in there, the same as the U-2 spy plane, to get it up way above 60,000 feet. But this one is supersonic. 7.5 feet of wing. If you notice the leading edge of the wing, is all black and yucky because people touch it, including me. That's the perspiration from your hand on metal. Anybody ever been to Gettysburg, Pennsylvania? All right, see Lincoln's nose? Tell me you saw Lincoln's nose. It's shiny. The rest of them is dull. People touch Lincoln's nose at Gettysburg. Go to Gettysburg, but only go October 31st. That's the best time to visit Gettysburg. It's the middle child. But you remember when John Kennedy was killed? LBJ was sworn in on John Kennedy's jet, 26000, 26,000. After he had rode all the way back from Dallas, he said, I'm not going to get in that airplane ever again. 26,000. John Kennedy bought that as a hot rod of this version of airplane. Had all the stuff inside that John Kennedy wanted. But when LBJ got sworn in, John Kennedy's body was right behind him. It's kind of nasty, but I'm not going to get in this airplane ever again. So he takes one of these airplanes, 970, 971, and 972, parked out there at Andrews Air Force Base. He picks 970 to be his presidential airplane. It was always painted just like this one. So he gets the airplanes there. Ike gets the airplanes in 1959. Now you're looking a little longer than that, right? Still in this kind of color. Until John Kennedy gets in office, they were all metal. Jackie Kennedy is the one that actually painted these airplanes in the presidential colors. So he had an airplane painted like this, LBJ did. Except this one has 65 seats in it, a galley. The other one, 970, lives up in Seattle at the Museum of Flight. Please go to Seattle too. You can go in a Concorde aircraft. Right next to it is one of these, her sister. And that's the one that LBJ used as Air Force One. This airplane with the propellers was the first airplane to wear Air Force One colors. The dark blue over the top and down the windows, the light blue on the bottom is Robin's egg blue. This was John Kennedy's airplanes that he would take to Hyannisport. His longest trip was up to Jackson Hole, Wyoming. LBJ used it quite a bit, this little one, flying down to the ranch in Texas. And of course Lady Bird used a little jet. But that's the first airplane to have the colors of Air Force One. This 737 here is a 300 series. Just after the first of the year, I flew out of Denver on a 737-900. Yeah, China Southern gave us that. Here's a bunch of Harriers. Now these are AV-8s. It's an airplane that can sit there right there and go straight up in the air, back up, do-side-do, go off and do about 600 miles an hour, come back, stop, and lower herself right back into the chocks. Not too evident on the first airplane, but on the second one here, well, the first one's got a laser gun. I mean, that's evident. Right. There's a trainer. 04 is a trainer, but notice on the nose, end of the wing, tail, and other wing, it says danger hot air exhaust. So you got the two big giant engines forcing air down, lifting you up, but how do you control pitch and yaw? With a little spray of air from the wings and under the nose. That just gives you the control you need. So they're subsonic, of course. Number 14 is the fighter version. The United States Marine Corps is the only one on this planet flying these airplanes today. Out in Yuma, Arizona. And if they're not there, they're up in the North China Sea, flying around carriers up there because North Korea and China are not making nice. So we'll stop here for just a moment. If you'd like to go see the B-17 from Europe, if you're on the Boneyard tour within the next hour, hour and a half, I'd advise you to come back over and